What's going on, guys? Scotty Sparks here. Bringing you a new season. Actually, it's first season of our Little Cup League. Sean is the founder of it, and he decided to. He was kind of bored, so I think he just decided to just start one up randomly. He got a lot of the stuff done really fast. So I wonder if he was like working on it for a while, or if he just like one day was like, yeah, let's do it, and then within the day just hammered out all the details. But yeah, I don't have a Nihiligo in it, but this is just like when I type in Smogon, this is the first thing that pops up in my history. So I'm gonna show you my team and I'll talk about it because I did this draft on the go, so it was interesting for sure. Mm. And what is this? Oh, it's versus Mark. That's Big Brother stuff. So yeah, if you're a Big Brother fan and you want to see my ranking of the people, that was it. If you go back and pause that, they introduced the cast like Thursday, I think. It looks like it's gonna be a good cast, for sure. I actually applied for it, so it kind of sucks that I didn't make it. But I mean, it allowed me to finish my school year, um, and then apply for it next year or something. But yeah, so the way this is working is it's gonna be a 11 Pokemon team, two A picks, four B picks, four C picks, and a D pick. You can't use the same item on two Pokemon, so it's what is it, item locked or whatever it's called. They do the same thing in VGC, but in no Z moves. Other than that, it's pretty much open to do whatever. A is obviously the top tier Pokemon, and of course our boy Little Clifford. I want to change Arcanine's name to not to Clifford anymore, but well, we'll figure it out. It'll be Little something. But Growlithe, we got that Fire type. Looking at his stats right there, 60 speed. The speed tiering is like trash in this. Like if you're 60 and like someone's 64, it doesn't even matter because you still are like a speed tying. So there's gonna be a lot of things decided on speed ties this season, which is gonna be hilarious. But I was looking at two Pokemon. The two apparently obviously there's like the good Pokemon like Manfu and Froakie, which Mark both got somehow. But I was looking at like other stuff, like things that would be fun because that's the idea of this league. It's supposed to be like a fun gimmicky kind of thing, and my first match was a lot of fun. So I mean spoilers. I've already played it, but I'm not gonna say what the outcome is until that video. But yeah, I felt Growlithe was something I was comfortable with having used Arcanine before, and it was a way that I could. It's a really good mon to build a team around. It's got bulk, it's got offense, it's got a lot of options. And Intimidate, Flashfire. Flashfire allows me because I was looking into the future of my draft and what I wanted, and Flashfire gives me a lot of good options team wise. Allows me to draft Pokemon like Ferroseed, Pokemon like Poniard, some good Steel, some good grass types that are normally bad like with fire. They're bad at handling fire types. There's some other ones. I think I was looking at maybe Bronzer. I don't know if it gets heat proof, but it allows me to like go levitate and then get the ground. Like a Bronzer would have been sweet. Having Growlithe Bronzer. That was definitely something I was considering, but I mean you're gonna get sniped, right? The stuff's gonna get taken. It wasn't like top of my list, but like if I could get it, it would have been pretty cool. So yeah, Growlithe. It just and then it gives me an ice coverage because I knew some other things were like ice. I would have problems with ice. And I was like, it's just really good in that sense because later I pick some mons that are weak to it, weak to ice type. But yeah, that was basically the idea with this pick. It was something I was comfortable with, something that defensively checked a lot of types that in the future I wanted to draft. So overall, it just was a good core. So my next Pokemon, um, we got Squishy. I don't have all the nicknames done yet, so I don't have a nickname for this. Frillish is actually this tier, B, and that's gonna be Squishy. My little Squishy. That's I'm pretty sure that's Finding Nemo reference. So yeah, the B tier. I had the fourth pick out of six, so it was kind of a wheel in a sense. So this would have been the fifth, sixth, seventh, ninth overall pick. I knew that there was a lot of good options in the A tier, and there were some good options in the B tier, but I knew people would start dabbing into it. So I kind of wanted to jump in, grab this, and then see what was left in the A tier because by this point, two teams already grabbed. Well, one team grabbed an like each team had an A pick and one team had two A picks. So either um, the next wheel, everyone would steal their A's, and then people would dabble into the B. So I knew at this point, like I may as well get my B pick, and then the B pick I wanted most, let them take the rest of their A picks, and then go. Because at this point, there's some options that I had A pick wise, so it didn't really matter to me what I got in the A tier because Fungus did get sniped at this point. That was something else I was considering matching with Growlithe. And they're both sniped by Sean too. Aberrant Fungus, which, whatever. It happens. But I mean, Growlithe was something I was really considering, so it was good that Aber got sniped, so I didn't have to make that decision. What Frillish provides to the team is it gives me a Scald Switch in. It gives me a way to deal with Scarfers with Cursed Body. It's kind of unreliable in that sense. And isn't Damp, like, it prevents Explosion? Yeah, so I'm a Ghost type. I don't know why I'd want to prevent Explosion, unless it's like a doubles. That's the only way I see it. But yeah, the High Speed F was really useful. And Jellicent was something I was really considering in Season 3. If I didn't get a Alolan Marowak from Mark, I probably would have gone with my Rotom Heat, Jellicent. I don't forget what my grass type was. Oh, Chestnut. I think it was Chestnut, Rotom Heat, and Jellicent. And that was just a really fun core, a lower tier core. Yeah, but I liked my team in Season 3, so it didn't matter. But yeah, this is something I've always wanted to try. It gets Will-O-Wisp, it gets good coverage and stuff like Energy Ball, Scald, Shadow Ball. I mean, that's Stab. We'll see some of its coverage moves. It gets Ice Beam, stuff like that. Bottom line, like the coverage it has is pretty. It gets Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse. It gets Giga Drain, obviously HP. Gets Psychic. Like it has a lot of cool options. And Trick Room was big. Like a Trick Room allowed me to play with some cool things. But mainly it was a water type that could absorb water moves. This played really well with Growlithe now that I don't have to worry about my water weakness. And this kind of, between Growlithe and this, I realized I didn't really, like, the only bad side is I don't really have a ground switch in. That's the only, like, there's very few things Growlithe is afraid of, and it's like ground, rock, water. I think that's all fire Pokemon are weak to. So this is good against water. This offensively checks ground and rock. So it was just like, it was an obvious pick. Tier wise, I mean, like it was a good tier. Like in B tier, something like this is pretty good. Decent special attack, decent HP, and overall I felt like the synergy was there. Which brings me to my third pick. Again, building around this Growlithe. First pick is Volibee. This, of course, is an A pick because people use this in other leagues, like leagues that have freaking like Zygarde and shit. Dark, I believe. This gives me a knockoff user. It gives me Flying Stab. It gives me Dark Stab. It gives me a bulky pivot with U-turn. It gives me Defog, which is huge, and it gives me a ground resist or immunity, which means, and there's no Zygarde in this, so there's no like Thousand Arrows BS you have to worry about. Again, this covers Growlithe's weakness. Only thing I'm weak to now is Rock with Growlithe. So I'm gonna look into covering that with my next pick. But overall, Big Pecs, I don't know if I'm going to use that. Overcoat's good. It gives me a switch into Spore users. Weak Armor, if I want to get cheeky, I can double my speed if someone makes contact with me. And I can just go with like a Volibee Sweep. That'd be sweet. Get that knockoff Brave Bird. I would just need something like, Nasty Plot. That's interesting. If I do a Nasty Plot Weak Armor set, yeah, get wrecked, boys. And I guess it has decent defenses for sure, and then its attack at 45 and 55 is leaves a little bit to be desired. But overall, I think it's definitely a good pick. And of what was remaining in the A tier, it was definitely something that fit my team best. Um, Although I was looking at some other dark types, and this it's not really an offensive dark type, so I do want to still pick up either a flying or dark type in the future, preferably an offensive dark type to deal with like psychics and stuff. Because flying, yeah, like it's a good stab, but I think Volibee is good enough flying wise to deal with fighting Pokemon and stuff like that, or grasses and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, really liking it. Really like my team so far. And again, I was like at a hockey game during this, so I'm just kind of like during like the commercial breaks, I was kind of popping my phone out and trying to see where the draft was at. But yeah, so right now, like I said, the only thing that Growlithe is really fearing at this point is the Rock type, and go with my favorite Pokemon. Um, Actually, Luxray and then this. Like it's Luxray and Phanpy are my two favorite Pokemon. There's no strategies. Wow, that's sad. But this, I thought the C tier was the weakest tier. Looking into it, there's nothing really I wanted, which again, that's kind of why I thought it was the weakest. So I knew if I didn't grab my C stuff fast, I was gonna get left with like garbage, and I didn't really want that. And Phanpy, I thought had Rapid Spin, but I built my team, and it doesn't get Rapid Spin. LMNOPQR, no Rapid Spin. So yeah, I did draft this too because I'm like, oh, I got a Rapid Spinner, now I have a Defogger and I'm set. But surprise on me, right? I should have done my homework and not done this at a hockey game. But 60 attack, 60 defense, 90 HP, a very bulky Pokemon, and I swear I was playing a game where someone picked up like a berry in game. So if the wielder has no held item, it gets the last item consumed at the end of the turn. Adds a chance of finding an item after each battle. I think that's kind of good. So like if someone uses like a berry juice and they consume it, I can get the berry juice. So I mean that's a good ability in Little Cup. Yeah, because I was playing the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and during a battle, it was like, yeah, Zigzagoon picked up a berry, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? It's bad enough they have the stupid horde thing where like you call in your allies now when you're trying to like escape an opponent, and now like these Zigzagoons are picking up freaking berries and whatever. So it's good to know the details in that. That's gonna be helpful. Mm. Yeah, this also gives me a rocker, which is something I really wanted, and it gives me a solid ground type that can because I feel like in draft format having a solid ground type is crucial, especially with electrics being so good in draft format for that exact reason. Like electrics with Volt Switch are fast and they can provide momentum. Ground Pokemon make you double think that. You don't want to click Volt Switch on the ground switch in and then lose basically a turn. So having that as an option is useful. Got Bulldoze there. I guess that's some speed control I can do, counter. Like there's some cool things. Unfortunately, it doesn't get a sturdy, which Donphan gets. But overall, I mean, for a C tier pick, I'm not going to complain about my favorite Pokemon. My tied for my favorite. I think I like Phanpy better than Donphan too, just because it's cute. Oh, yeah, named it. Yeah, Dumbo. And here like this is a Pokemon I really want to try out. I like Crocorock or Crocodile, which is something I've wanted to use in draft format. I just never picked it up. But Intimidate Moxie, another Intimidate user is very useful. 65 speed, which is pretty good. 72 attack, really good. Moxie Scarf. My goal is just a Moxie Scarf. I picked up another Moxie user too, and like going into this draft, I'm like, oh man, like if I could just like Moxie Scarf sweep people, that'd be hilarious. And that was kind of like one of the main things I realized about my team. So that at this point, knowing that I have a Moxie user, I'm like getting like a Sticky Web Pokemon at some point would be nice. But I mean, I thought it was too early at this point to. No one was going for Sticky Web users. I think Dewpider gets picked up at some point, but like the ones I was looking at were like Surskit, Spinarak, and Joltik. So it didn't really matter that Dewpider got taken. So like one of those three were going to be around near the end of the draft, so I didn't have to worry about that. But this does give me a Stealth Rock user. Again, Intimidate, Moxie. Gives me a solid offensive ground type and a solid offensive dark type. And because I have Growlithe and Jellicent, I don't really worry as much about ice types and Ice Shard. Because I have Jellicent, I don't really worry about fighting types. Especially with Phanpy being so bulky and fighting types usually hitting on the physical side. What else would these be weak to? I guess bugs too. The dark types. But I think flying checks bug, and then Growlithe is a fire type, deals with it anyways. So like I could afford to pick this up, which is nice. And this is another C tier. So getting something this powerful in the C tier was really, really good. And I named it Hamburger, I think. And this is kind of showing you which Pokemon I actually brought to the first match. The ones I have nicknames for. So yeah, this is just really useful. I thought it was a very utility Pokemon, and like that's what I kind of wanted in my draft was versatility. Like unless something was really good at a specific thing, I wanted a team that was versatile. So a Sandile being able to do a couple different things, and I mean its defense is like trash, but I could run like an Eviolite defensive Intimidate set, so as a bulky defender, which could be useful. But mainly it just provides me that, and it's like weak to 6 types. Oh god. So yeah, Bug checked by Growlithe, Fairy checked by Growlithe, Fighting checked by Frillish, Grass by Growlithe, Ice by Growlithe, and Water by Jellicent. So like I could afford the typing, which is nice. My next Pokemon. At this point, this kind of might have been an early pickup, but it was actually in the D tier, and I was looking at my team, and one of the things I realized was how physically offensive it was, and I didn't really like that. Like Sandile physical, Phanpy physical, Volibee. I thought at this point Growlithe and Volibee can be mixed, but they're more physical, and then Frillish, yeah, special, but I didn't really have that offensive pressure, and it was a D tier Pokemon. And again, it's like it was a good typing because I couldn't really find any Psychic Fairy. I knew I wanted one of them. I was trying to look for Psychic and Fairies in the draft. Couldn't really find something in the higher tiers I liked. But with Trace and Synchronize, those two abilities are going to be a lot of fun to use. Just like bounce around and throw off. Just use other people's abilities against them. I know I saw Jolt in the GBA. He was using like Trace routes to counter Sand Rush and stuff like that. It's like some, it's just a lot of cool abilities, or like Trace to cover Volt Absorb for Electrotite, stuff like that. I don't know, just a fun overall Pokemon to use. But it was why I picked it up, and it also again provides me that offensive support. Allows me to deal with it allows me to deal with fighting types, which was something I liked. But yeah, overall, it was just like I wanted something that was especially offensive, and that was the only Pokemon I could find other than like an electric Pokemon. And I was gonna go Nidoran, but the female one, I think that was more especially offensive, or whatever. I don't know which one I wanted, but I decided against it just because I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. Between the two, I thought this would be more useful. So yeah, I did reach a little bit, but I didn't want it to get taken. And especially since people would start delving, and most people didn't take their D pick until like last round, so that was kind of a mistake on my thing. But I mean, it could have been like they could have still been sniped, and I didn't want to lose my one of the better Pokemon in the D tier. And this one fills out another B pick, and I don't have a nickname for it yet. But Iron Barb's really useful. Those defense stats are crazy. Speed doesn't even matter. Health is good. Gives me that 50 attack. This is a fairy. This deals with fairies. There's very few, but it deals with fairies. It deals with psychic. It deals with electric Pokemon. And with worrying about HP Fire, I have Growlithe with Flash Fire. So Pharaoh Seed isn't something I really needed. I don't really have to worry about that. And I have Frillish too, so like I'm checked fire-wise. So overall, it was something I had in my mind when I was entering the draft that I wanted it. It gives me a Stealth Rocker, gives me a Spiker, gives me a T-Waver if I want, gives me obviously Toxic, but it just gives me like a bulky Pokemon. And the only thing is, in my draft, I don't end up picking up another Grass type, which could be bad, just because this doesn't switch into Ground that well. But overall, I pick up a Bug type, and I'll be picking up another Flying type, so I don't really have to worry about Ground types all that much with the combination of those three. And I'm still neutral to Ground, so it's not that bad. And with that defense and an Eviolite, I don't see many Pokemon appreciating attacking this thing. So yeah, that was like that's the main points there. And I always wanted to use Ferrothorn in draft format too. So Little Cup gives me again another Pokemon that gives me the option of using the baby of it, even though I wanted to use it. These are Pokemon that I've wanted to use in like actual draft format without without finally pulling the trigger on it. Because like I'd want to, but like I end up finding something better or a different draft plan, and I go against it. But yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of fun because like look at those defenses. Oh god. And another thing people use in like actual draft formats with like OU picks. So like it has to be bulky somehow, right? That Eviolite, I'm not gonna want. I wouldn't want to face that. Next pick, like I said, going back to the whole not really being specially offensive and C tier being the weakest. That's my main pick behind this, and I go Sparky, let's go. It gives me an electric type, which I want. Fast electric type of that. 65 attack is really good. Mega Manetric's really good, but I guess it gets Intimidate too. And this gives me an electric immunity too. So now I don't have to rely on ground types. I can that way like Pokemon that are like trying to beat my like what ground switches into like electric types, they can run HP Ice, but unless they're like an electric ground type like a Stunfish, which isn't in Little Cup, they're gonna have trouble dealing with electric unless they have like a good stab move. They'll have that trouble. So now like teams that are trying to deal with my ground types or trying to deal with it just puts pressure on their electric Pokemon because now they can't just throw on an HP and be good. Like they can throw on HP ground and then my ground types cover them. So they have to have either grass or ground coverage or ground cover or grass or water coverage or ground coverage that they can throw the other HP on. But it's just a nice Pokemon in general. It helps Frillish. It helps Volibee. So it has that synergy there, and that momentum is going to be useful. So yeah, that's mainly why I went with it. And then Static, I guess, if I want to be cheeky, get that Paralyze. What are the odds of it? It's like 50% maybe? Oh, thank you for telling me the percentage, yeah. So yeah, that was my idea behind that. And then we got my next pick. I talked about it earlier. This gives me a Bug type and a Water type and a Sticky Web user, which was the main goal of it. And it's also something I can use specially offensive too, because as much as I like Frillish, I think I named it Charlotte, like Charlotte's Web. As much as I do like the Frillish pick, it's not really an offensive water type, so I might move around my team to patch some holes, but I do like the it has Swift Swim too, but there's nothing that has a Drizzle in the Little Cup tiers, which is unfortunate. But I get that Scald, that Sticky Webs is the main thing really, and it switches into ground types. Bug resist ground, so that's nice. Wait, does that mean Ferrothorn? No, Ferrothorn's weak to fighting. Bug resist fighting. Okay, I was gonna say, what was the difference between a Grass Steel and a Bug Steel? Because Bug Steel is only weak to fire, but Grass Steel is weak to another type, so fighting. But yeah, that was like, there's not much more to talk about it because like, I do like it was just the ground resistant Sticky Webs, and then it was an offensive, especially offensive Pokemon that hit on the water side or hit water, had water stab. Sorry, if I can speak, that'd be nice. It'd be helpful, wouldn't it? But yeah, so I'll just go to my next pick. I'm just getting to the point where I was just kind of like just picking things because they were more cool and kind of like meshed well with the team and covered up like small little holes. And here again, I'm gonna go with the C tier pick, just so that I can get what I want. And if I could type, that'd be nice too. Man, how am I surviving university? That's the real question. So now I'm checked off my C tier, and I got 4 Pokemon that I really like. Electrike, Sandile, Phanpy, Litleo. Sandile's gonna be OP. Litleo, look at that attack, like 73, and with the 50 attack on with Moxie isn't bad. On Nerve, can't eat berries. I don't know if that affects berry juice, but it could. It's held berry item, so berry juice. I don't know if that's a berry, but that could be useful, which is an OP item in Little Cup, anyways. 72 gives me a fast Pokemon, which I like, and it allows pressure off Growlithe. I don't have to bring Growlithe every week. I don't have to bring it like if I need an offensive fire type. I don't need to give up the bulk that Growlithe would normally have. I can run it bulky, and then I can bring a fire type. Because I have enough ground switchings, enough water switchings, enough rock switchings that I can bring 2 fire types in a game and not have to worry. And the normal weakness against priority Mach Punches, I have Ferroseed, which the Mach Punches they'll hurt, but they'll do more damage to the opponent than they do to me. Along with Volibee being neutral and Frillish being immune, so I can afford this pick, and it gives me a powerful special attacker, because looking at my team, I have a lot of physical like prowess, so I'm just kind of trying to round off my special so that teams aren't like, oh well, I'm just gonna bring like all physical walls and then he's done. So this gives me my team gives my team more utility, that it makes other teams have a harder time prepping. And yeah, it's a fun league, but still, if I can, which is actually better for me, because if it gives them a hard time prepping and it's a fun league and they just kind of throw some stuff together, then that boosts my ability to win, because they might overlook the small thing that I chose to do. That like there's a lot of variety in my team, which is really nice. And my last pick, I'll go to my last pick now, because that's pretty much like I have to name him Simba. Like how do I not name this little cub Simba? But I don't know what its shiny version is, but it's a really nice round out to my C tier, which I really like. And I'm kind of mad that Phanpy doesn't get Rapid Spin, which would have been perfect, but whatever. And I hate the ability Defeatist, but in Little Cup, I don't think that's gonna be an issue. 70 speed tier, really good. 112 attack, like come on, are you serious? Give this boy acrobatics, give it berry juice, and or sub berry juice or sub pinch berry. So when I'm at half, like at 25%, I get 50% of my health. Like come on, that's just ridiculous. I get behind a sub, I get my berry, go back to 75%. Around like 70%, whatever. And then I just throw off acrobatics, and rock coverage is something that hits hard. Like it's a good offensive type, and the fact that Archon isn't going to be a defensive Pokemon. Like I find a lot of rock types are more defensive, but rock is a really awful defensive typing. They just have a lot of physical bulk, which is why rock types are usually more defensive. But this boy's offensive. This boy is gonna wreck teams, and come on, 112 attack. Are you serious? Is this really allowed? It's only a B pick too, and I might just be overplaying it because I didn't actually bring it my first match, so I don't really know if I'm just if I have no idea what's going on in this this thing. If I have no idea what Little Cup is and I'm just kind of making shitty picks, but come on, I don't know how this thing went to the last round. That's just ridiculous. Come on, I'm gonna say that one more time. Actually, no, I'm not. That's annoying. Fuck. Oh man, I'm tired. But yeah, I'm hoping this puts in work. And this again, I was talking about how my team was very physically offensive, but I can afford more physical offense just because of how special the special offensive picks I had made, and my team is already bulky, as bulky as it is. So it's nice to it's nice to round out with a nice powerful fun mon that you don't really get to use because Archops with Defeatist is kind of trash. But Archon I think has some hope. So let's hope it does some damage this season. But yeah, that's gonna be it for my team analysis. Hopefully that wasn't too hard to listen to, just because like I'm tired and I can't speak and I can't type, and yeah, a whole bunch of bad combos there. But yeah, I will see you guys at our first match, which is versus Mark's team. So that's gonna be fun. I'm bringing some scummy options, but uh, yeah, Mark, you're the one that thought of it, so jokes on you.